Let me explain about the American Songbook, and it's so special. You've probably had other artists tell you, but I tell my vocal students, classical music is European,
Right.
and the American Songbook is our classical music. It's our gift to the world. It's so well written. The music that you hear being written in an era is a reflection of the mental state of emotional state of mind of the culture at the time.
My guest today is jazz singer Nancy Kelly, twice named Best Female Jazz Vocalist in Downbeat's Readers Poll and recently inducted into the Rochester Music Hall of Fame. And she started piano at the age of 4, studied voice at Eastman, and cut her teeth as the house singer at Philadelphia's legendary Jules Jazz Club, sharing the stage with greats like Etta Jones and Houston Person, and a founding member of the so-called Upstate Burn Society, which we'll talk to her about. Nancy's been called everything from the Anita O'Day of today to simply the real deal. And she swings hard. She teaches with passion. We'll talk about her teaching career. And she continues to light up stages around the world. And she's going to be at VIX Las Vegas Friday and Saturday, September 19th and 20th at 7:30 and at 9. And for reservations, go to vixlasvegas.com. For everything about Nancy Kelly, go to nancykelly.com. And talk about her current album, Be Cool. You go to nancykelly.com, follow her on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. And Nancy, I'm sorry we're out of time after that long introduction.
That's okay. I was thoroughly engaged.
Excellent. I was trying, when I first was listening to some of your music, I thought of Anita Day before even reading about the fact.
Isn't that something?
Yeah. And I also think a little bit of, and correct me if I'm wrong, which sometimes people do, a little bit of, you're going to think this is odd, but maybe not, Doris Day
Yeah, well,
in her jazz stuff. Just a
it's
little.
because Doris was a jazz singer and she was not promoted as a jazz singer,
Correct.
which is a smart move. It's almost a smart move anytime.
You get better known if you don't promote yourself that way, right?
Yeah. So Doris she could whoop it up if she wanted to. And that style of open, clear speaking voice singing is a part of that's part of my style as well.
Sure.
So that may be
Exactly.
what you were picking up on.
Yeah. And also Peggy Lee. So those three
Well,
kind of,
Peggy was one of my
yeah.
idols.
You're uniquely yourself, but I just have elements that I'm sure that you subconsciously take in when you were first starting out and coming up with your particular style.
Well, I mean, there isn't a jazz artist on the earth that doesn't borrow and learn. And then, of course, we rethink everything.
Yes.
Hopefully.
Now you strike me as both an accomplished performer, but also a little bit of what would be the word? Down to earth person, which is very unusual in a lot of cases with the world of performing arts.
What you see is what you get.
Yeah, exactly. That's my
That's
point.
me.
Right.
I'm
Yeah.
I'm the same person right now with you as I will be on the stage at VIX.
And where does that come from? Is it, you've always been that way?
Uh, that's a good question. I guess that comes from just uh, my first love is the music. So the music takes precedence over my show type thing. In jazz, sometimes calling it a show is not a positive thing. And jazz people don't like to think of things as a show, but I'm a show even on when I'm not on the stage.
24/7.
So I'm a natural when it comes to relating to people and making them feel happy and good. And old school, baby.
No, definitely so. I've talked to other jazz artists recently that we talked about the idea that there are performers who separate themselves a little bit from the audience, almost too cool for the room kind of a vibe. And you're not that way.
I am in moments. There are times where we get so deep into the creation that I do kind of go away mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I go away and then I come back. I know there's been many times when I would sing a ballad, I'd get so into it that I'd have to tell the audience, give me a minute because I need to regroup, because I just go, we call it the zone. I don't know if anybody's ever used that term before with you.
Yes, no, you're absolutely right. You're in that moment. And I think what you just said is very revealing in terms of your personality, which is you recognize that and you think how it may appear to the audience, and you say, give me a moment till I come back here. And I'm sure
Well,
the
I'm real. I have no reason to be anything else,
right.
and I think people, uh, they really respect and appreciate that. I mean, they know when they're coming to something and it's contrived. They know that. But that doesn't mean they don't like it. They just know the difference.
Right. And I think
Yeah.
a certain amount of showmanship is fine in the world of jazz too, for a number of reasons. But I think that you're able to balance that out. You're able to combine those elements of performance and art and where you are on stage and in the music. So you do have that ability to somehow make that all work. I don't know. I guess that's the mystery of art, isn't it? Or jazz, or both.
Well, I think a lot of it has to do with the era that I am from. That when you see the some of the newer, younger people, I do see some people trying to pick up on the whole relating to the audience thing. I certainly teach my students how to do it because they want to be with you, they want to be near you, they maybe even want to be you.
Well, you're under the bright lights. They're not, and so there's a certain envy I think that comes from, yeah, I want to be with that performer, and so you make that work for them. You mentioned, and I wanted to talk a little bit about your background also in terms of teaching students. So there's that bifurcation there. You're on stage as a jazz legend, and then at the same time you're teaching people how to perform, how to sing, how to be in that world, and you're able to balance that out. Are your students awestruck when they work with you, or you put them at ease pretty quick?
Yes, they are. They, I have one. Yeah, that's now you see. This is why I'm perfect for Vix. You'll see.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Any my one of my students, who's a lot of my students turn into dear friends because we're sharing something very intimate. Music is
Yeah.
very intimate, and and he said he was so scared before his first lesson. He had to go get a drink.
At least it wasn't hard drugs.
No, oh no, no, no. Those days are gone, dear.
Yeah, no, I understand. I want to remind everybody that you're going to be at the VIX Las Vegas Friday and Saturday, September 19th and 20th at 7:30 and 9. So there's two shows there. Is this your first time performing in Las Vegas?
I've been there before, but we're going to leave it at that.
Yes, that's fine. I know. I saw the arrest record. It was fine. It was no big deal.
We're same thing. Me and who was the other one?
Yeah, well, it's
David Bowie.
now, how do jazz performers in general, because you obviously have a great sense of humor, do jazz performers in general have a sense of humor, or do they take themselves a little too seriously? You don't have to name names. I'm just curious in terms of the overall group of performers that are out there in the world of jazz.
You ask a very valid question there, and it's one that I like to talk about often. I have found that people who are virtuosos, all right, you've become a virtuoso, they don't take themselves as seriously because you become humbled by the art.
Interesting.
People who haven't quite gotten there yet, and they really think so much of themselves, they're usually not in the big leagues,
Yeah.
or get recognized as someone who should be.
I can give you a perfect example of someone who actually was in a lot of different phases of music. Well, Tony Bennett,
Yeah.
who just was very down to earth, very, you could talk to him. I've talked to him a couple of times on the show, and he was just very humble.
Because music comes first.
Exactly. That was his commitment. The one thing he did, and I've seen him many times over the years or decades, was, and I always was amazed at that, he did not take any water with him on stage, and he did not drink any water throughout the performance. He didn't want it to take away from his performance and the art.
I didn't notice that or know
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, I saw that a couple of times where because I was wondering, he's not taking a break as most performers do, and rightly so. You want to wet your whistle and you get the humidifiers going. In fact, are you bringing a humidifier with you to Las Vegas?
I got my vocal mist
Yeah, okay.
because I come to LA a lot, and the desert does not, it's not the friend of singers.
No, not at all.
So if you're either outside where it's dry or you're inside where it's dry because the air con, you
Yeah.
know. But that's all right. I'm much more worried about jet lag
Yeah.
because I'm not young anymore. So it's like,
Well,
it's
yeah, it takes a little bit, but you're going to be what, about 4 hour, 5 hour difference in time zone when you come back.
I think it's, well, I don't know.
Something
I
like
think
that.
it's three.
Yeah. Now, how when you travel, and because you're always working and you're always performing and you're always teaching, so when you go out on the road, do you travel with a group or do you pick up local
I
people?
travel with my conductor,
Okay, your musical
like most
director.
singers.
Yeah,
It's cost effective. We know all the cats worldwide. No matter what city you're going to, we know who to call.
yeah,
That does my thing, which is swing and bebop. You know, Not hard to do.
right.
Sometimes I get to take them all, and that's just delightful. Um,
Yeah, but you're right, it's cost effective. You don't have to lug a bunch of instruments as well as people and hotel rooms and food and the whole thing. Yeah, it makes sense.
yeah.
It is fun. I noticed that you have a certain, and you already know this because we just talked about it, but I have to come back to it again. You're very much at ease with yourself and your identity. Not all performers are, and especially in certain worlds of show business and certain worlds of music. But you know who you are. There are, as you say, you're old school in a way. So you know what you bring to the recording and you know studio and you know what you bring to the stage. And does that come from just simply doing it over and over and over again, starting at a very early age and performing at a certain level? Where does that come from?
Uh,
I try
I
not to
can't.
make too many tough
Yeah, no,
questions.
no, no. There, some of these answers are so multifaceted that it's. I mean, when I was younger, I had a degree of stage fright, and it comes out of scrutiny. You don't like scrutiny, You sometimes question yourself when you're in the midst of learning an art form, and of course, as jazz people, we never stop learning the art form. We're always seeking and searching, as Bill Evans said, for the lost chord. You know, but I have always been someone who's a people pleaser type when I'm in public. I think my family really groomed me from when I was little. I had all the different things that dancing and modeling school and all these different things where it groomed me to be very comfortable in a public setting. And I'm this way at the store if I run into somebody at the
Understood. Yes, of course.
store. Yeah.
No, that makes sense. I was thinking also, now you're going to laugh when I say this, but if I had to pair you, and this is just my opinion, if I had to pair you with an instrumental jazz group based on old school and just how it would work in the world of jazz, I could see a great double bill, if you're ready for this, you and the Dave Brubeck Quartet.
Oh, well, I knew Dave Brubeck and I knew when I yes. I
It's
don't
just,
know. Yeah, Dave. Yeah, well, a sax player that I work with quite often took Desmond's place. Bobby Militello. He's one of our upstate burners, and
yeah,
he's in.
please describe that too after you finish this point.
Yeah, he's in Buffalo. He's now semi-retired and in Buffalo since Dave has passed, and all that. But
Right.
geez, 30 years on the stage with Dave. I don't know. Yeah, they might have tolerated me.
I just think you come from that same time and place in a way, that genre. You just that's what it strikes me. I could see the two of you performing on stage, not at the same time necessarily, but on a double bill. That type of,
Yeah.
I guess what I'm trying to say. Okay,
Yeah. Oh, okay. I
yeah,
get you. Okay.
yeah. Maybe I didn't
Yeah.
explain it right. That's what
I would
happens.
have loved that. I would
Yeah,
have
I think
loved
that would have
that.
been great. So, Upstate Burn Society.
It's just a made up thing.
Yeah, well, by the name, I thought that was the case.
Well, this is such a great conversation. I can remember going out I go to Los Angeles often, and I have friends who have moved from back east to LA to for continue their careers out there.
Sure.
And a friend of mine who was from Philly, we were playing, I think, at Herb Alpert's place. Vibrato, is that the name of it?
Yes. Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And he says to me, "There's nobody out here like you." And that's a compliment
Yes, exactly.
because I'm very New York. I'm very outspoken and just filled with the Dickens. You know?
But you don't strike me as one element of being a New Yorker sometimes can be abrasive, but you don't strike me.
Oh, I can be abrasive.
Yeah, okay.
I'm being a nice girl for you.
Thank you. I appreciate that on behalf of everybody watching and listening.
Just ask my family; they'll tell you.
But they excuse it because of the talent, don't they?
They don't care about
They
my
don't care.
talent.
No, families never do.
They just want to know when dinner's ready. That's it.
Is it ready? I'm ready. Okay, okay. So now I want to talk a little bit about your current album. You've made several, but "Be Cool" is it. And I was listening to it the other day, and your selection is interesting in terms of it's a variety of approaches and a variety of songs. So how did you come up with the song selection for "Be Cool"?
Well, it's very simple. It's simply what I like doing. I there's no theme other than it's a B3 record, Hammond B3 record. There's no theme other than I love things that are blues based. I'm a believer. I'm a believer that jazz should be blues based. Um, and it's just all songs that I like doing. And the premise of the whole way that this came about was this young man on the organ, William Gorman. He was a vocal student of mine. And he went on. I said, "You got to get out of here," which was Syracuse, New York. I said, "You have to get out of here. You can't have a career. You have to go to New York,"
Right.
which we've all done our time in New York. You have to. So he went to New York. He graduated from William Patterson, I believe, and went on to tour the world with a blues sax player. He's done more touring than I have, and he's not even 28.
Hmm.
He's a bad, you know what. So
My lips are sealed.
yeah. So I said, I used to dream when we were doing lessons, oh, I'd love to do a gig with him someday, because I was teaching him how to back a singer. He'd play, and then I'd sing, and we'd work on that. And then I said, oh, I thought to myself, someday I want to do a gig with him. And then we did a gig, and then I said, oh, I have to make a record with him.
Ah, okay.
And that's how it happened.
Okay, that's
how it happened.
Okay.
But I love the B3. That was what I was a part of, that whole B3 extravaganza during it, that was so popular in Philly. All the cats that went through there. I was friends with Joey D. I understand that Vix has an organ that Joey D donated to them.
Nice.
And we'll be using it.
Well, I think you should, yes.
Yeah.
When you are performing, like when you come to Vix, do you have a set list you are working off of, or are you going to improvise with the
It's
guys?
funny you said that, because I've been going, oh gosh, I wonder what kind of a vibe. I even called Joe Lano. Is that his name? He's the guitarist on.
Yes.
He was so helpful.
What
a lovely gentleman he is.
Yes, Joe was on my show about a month ago.
Yeah. But he's going to help me with mine.
Oh, good.
And I've asked him, what's it? He goes, oh, it's a jazz club. You can do your. I said, well, if I throw some bebop at them, are they going to leave? Or
no, they're not, because they're busy having dinner and having drinks. So they're not about to get up and leave. No. Go ahead and do it. Throw it at them.
So I'm probably, what I'm going to do is a great question, because I can answer it honestly.
Yeah,
I'm probably going to put two shows together and figure out once I start to feel the room and figure out what direction I need to go. I'm not going to write it in stone, because I'm going to say, okay, let's do this instead, because I can tell what's going to tickle their fancy.
Do you ever take a chance and ask the audience, or are you just going to perceive the audience?
Oh, I have a standard ongoing joke. I do take requests, although I only know 10 songs.
And I think you should.
And then invariably they ask for one I actually don't know. So.
if they do ask for one, you should put a big tip jar right at the front of the stage.
Oh God, the tip jar is important, especially in Vegas.
Yeah, they need a lot of help at the moment, so it's good. So when you decide to balance it all out, okay, let's review. Teaching, performing, recording. If I ask you to assign percentages, 30-30-30, 60-40-20, oh, that's 120%.
Well, no, most of my focus is on my teaching.
Okay.
I don't take. I live in upstate New York, and if you want to work around here, I can get so overexposed, and so I do less of that,
Right.
and take more. If there's concerts, I will take that, or of course take things like this in Vegas and things in LA. I move around, but I have to say my teaching is one of my main jobs, I guess, right now.
And people
But it is for many of us.
Oh,
Many
yeah.
of we're all in colleges now. You know how that whole thing happened,
Constantly
right?
learning. And if you go to nancykelly.com, then you can find out all about her teaching and vocal coaching.
Yeah, I love it.
It's an album. I'm curious about why you mentioned about upstate New York. Given you're such a New York gal, as I like to phrase it, you're still comfortable being up in the northern part of
That's
New
a
York.
long story, Ira.
Okay. Well, I got a couple of minutes, unless you don't want to.
No, that's a long story. I'm actually in my family's, it was our summer camp. And just a series of moves and things, I ended up back here, but that's just a long story.
Okay, that's fair enough. All right, I want to talk about the Great American Songbook because that's so much part of not only the general popular culture, but jazz in particular. There are so many jazz versions of the Great American Songbook. So when you look at that yourself, you're going to obviously be very picky. You'll pick and choose which songs work for you as a jazz artist. How do you do that? Or how do you, is it the structure of the song? Is it the meaning of the song? Is it the melody of the song, the lyrics, or is it all of it? How does that work?
That's, I like this question.
I only do good questions. I have to tell you that. That's in my contract.
Okay.
Only ask good questions. So thank you for
I'll be the judge of that.
Yes, you will.
There,
And as a New Yorker, you may.
there's my New Yorker coming up.
You may criticize me, and it's okay.
No, you ask great questions.
Broad shoulders. Okay.
So I look for a variety of things. My main talent is my sense of rhythm. It's one of I never thought I had the greatest voice in the world, although people argue that with me, but I don't think any of us like our own voices. But I because I'm very focused on rhythm and I'm very focused on story, I really am interested. So there's a wonderful marriage that happens in some of these pieces where the melody is perfectly placed over the harmonics and the storyline lends itself to syncopation.
Mm. Interesting.
And I'm looking for that. I'm surprised sometimes that I find a song. I love a ballad. I could do ballads half the night. In fact, I would love to do just a ballad and bossa record. I love to sit back in that. But I am known for my ability to dig in, and I look for pieces that I can mold in a way that suit my abilities.
Mm-hmm.
Was that the right? Did they?
Yeah.
Did I nail that?
You nailed it. But now I'm going to nail you to give me the most favorite song
There's no
of
way.
yours from the Great American Songbook, if there is one.
There's no way. Because the way we work and the way we operate, since this is an emotional, spiritual-based music, what's going on today? Well, here's the tune I like today. Mm-hmm. Because that's where my brain's at. That's where I'm at mentally.
That's an excellent answer, I have to tell you, because usually if I'm talking with an artist, they do have a favorite song, but your answer makes total sense. It really depends on your mood and what's going on.
Oh yeah, I can have one tune that I absolutely thought, oh, this is fantastic. I did it in the show, and then the next night I don't want to get anywhere near it.
Exactly.
And I don't know why. It's just there's it's just the connection with all of it. I don't know.
Well, let me flip it the other way then. What's your least favorite song?
Quando. I don't know.
There wasn't even a pause. It just came right out.
Was it? Oh my God. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No,
I
but the
mean,
fact that you were
this,
able to do it that quick.
let me explain about the American Songbook, and it's so special. You've probably had other artists tell you, but I tell my vocal students, classical music is European,
Right.
and the American Songbook is our classical music. It's our gift to the world. It's so well written. The music that you hear being written in an era is a reflection of the mental state of emotional state of mind of the culture at the time. So everybody had just come home from the war. Families were back together. We were making great stride in civil rights. People were happy, and the music was the best it's ever been in this country because we've kind of gone a little downhill from there. So
Yeah, you
it's
look at some of the great composers, Cole Porter and
oh,
Rodgers and Hammerstein and George Gershwin, Ira Gershwin, and others, and they span not just that pre and post-war period, but really decades if you think about it, in terms of some of it in the 30s, some of it in the 40s, a little bit in the
oh yeah, there's
50s.
some of it. Yeah, when it was they were developing,
Oh
but
yeah.
it's just it's our classical music. It will never go away ever. So that's what the beauty of it. It's so well written. Um, I love to see the youngsters coming up, um, revisiting with the songbook and bringing it out, doing their own thing to it. Hardcore jazzers might be upset, but so what? Let them expose people to the music.
Yeah, it's a great foundation. Hey, before I let you go, what's your next year look like for Nancy?
Oh, well, I have lots of plans on things right now. I'm working on just what jazz festivals I can get involved in, and I'm working on. I just did a record. It's a lot. When you do a record, it's just it sucks every ounce of life out of you. It's so I
It's
need a
hard,
little break from that for a minute.
it's hard to be cool when you're recording Be Cool. That's
Oh,
what you're
well,
saying.
not hard for me to be cool.
No, but it's hard to be cool and calm and collected when you're
Cool and
recording.
calm, yeah.
Yeah, that's what I get. Well, that's a great way to leave it. My guest is,
And just do
yeah,
some more gigs, do some more great gigs.
excellent. Well, that's a great way to leave it. My guest has been Nancy Kelly. She's performing at VIX, Las Vegas, Friday and Saturday, September 19th and 20th at 7:30 and 9. For reservations, go to vixlasvegas.com. For everything about Nancy, including her teaching, go to nancykelly.com. Her album is Be Cool. And you can follow her on Facebook, Instagram, X, and YouTube. Yes, she's on social media. Nancy, thanks for being on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I so enjoyed meeting you, and
Same
it
here.
was a great conversation. Thank you, Ira.
Thank you. See you next
All
time.
right.